What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. In this video, I want to talk to you about my international bug out bag. So right now, I'm in Krakow, Poland. I'm just here on a vacation, visiting some family. For those of you guys who may not know, my parents are Polish immigrants. So we do have some family here in Poland, and every couple of years we come to visit and say hello to them. So I want to just show you my bug out bag that I brought here to Poland, and maybe this will help you out if you're traveling somewhere and you want to be prepared for an SHTF situation in the area you're traveling to. Now, one thing to keep in mind is you have to do a threat assessment of where you're going. So for example, here in Poland, the biggest threat is war with Russia. So my preparations are geared towards nuclear war or missile strikes, things like that. You know, what would I do if, let's say, Russia started lobbing missiles into Poland or into NATO, or if there was some kind of a nuclear exchange in Ukraine? Let's say if Putin nuked Ukraine and there was radioactive fallout. So you have to do a threat assessment of where you're going, what are the threats there, both natural and man-made, and you have to kind of tailor your bug out bag to those threats and also have plans to deal with those threats. A bug out bag by itself is not enough. You need to have a plan, you need to do some research, you need to figure out what the threats are, natural or man-made, and then you gotta figure out what's your plan for dealing with those threats. You should have several plans. You should have a primary plan, an alternate plan, a contingency plan, and an emergency plan. So you should actually have 4 plans. I haven't had enough time to make 4 plans, but I can tell you that I have several plans for how to deal with a nuclear attack or a nuclear war or a tactical nuclear exchange next to Poland and Ukraine. So another thing that's very important is you should research the local climate. What's the local climate like in the area that you're traveling to? And also think about local resources. So if you're bugging out, if it's an SHTF situation overseas, you're going to be dealing with different terrain than what you're used to, different culture, different climate, different wildlife, different trees, different shrubs, different wild edibles, different medicinal plants. And, you know, it would be very smart for you to spend a little bit of time and read up on some of the local medicinal plants, some of the local wild edibles, some of the local game populations and where they're located, and just kind of learn a little bit about where you're going so you're not just like totally uneducated about where you're going. See, the thing with Poland is I've been going here my whole life every few years. So I'm very well versed on what the local wildlife populations are, where I can find them, the terrain, the climate. So I didn't really have to do any of that research coming here. But if you're traveling somewhere, if you're doing like a European vacation or a foreign vacation somewhere, you should definitely study the local terrain, local climate, local flora and fauna, because if you bug out, chances are you're going to be in an area where you have to maybe deal with the local wildlife if they're a threat to you. You know, are there poisonous snakes? Are there poisonous insects? Are there, you know, different animals that can attack you like bears or wild boar? You know, these are things you need to think about. What kind of diseases are there? Okay, like African sleeping sickness or schistosomiasis, river blindness. Okay, river blindness is caused by a parasite that bores into your eye. In some tropical countries, they have parasites that can actually bore into the skin in your feet, okay? So you need to be aware of these threats, the animal threats, the parasites, the illnesses, malaria, rabies, whatever it is. You need to be aware of all these things wherever you're going as best as you can be. You don't have to be an expert, you don't have to spend days and days researching all these things, but it would be smart for you to sit down at least for a couple of hours and try to, as quickly as possible, educate yourself on some of the most important things, okay? Diseases, parasites, weather, climate, terrain, flora, fauna, okay? Even if you're going to be staying in a city environment, okay, it doesn't matter. You may have to exit the city and go out into the countryside, okay? Now, if you're traveling to an area like Eastern Europe, you got to think about nuclear war, okay? Where are you going to shelter if there's some kind of a nuclear exchange between Russia and NATO, or Russia and Ukraine, or if there's missile attacks? You need to think about areas that are resistant to overpressure, okay, blast waves, and also you need to think about radiation. Fortunately, here in Poland, there's a lot of old bunkers from the Cold War era. Now, in addition to that, all the cities in Poland are very, very old. The buildings are hundreds of years old. They're made of several feet of brick, solid brick, and they all have solid basements. So if the building doesn't have a basement, just the upper levels are so well shielded against radiation, because you're talking about 1 to 2 feet of solid brick, okay? So if you're going to Eastern Europe, you need to figure out a fallout shelter close to your hotel. You should also do some research of the surroundings around your hotel where you're staying, potential water sources, potential food sources, potential threats, okay, around your hotel within, let's say, a couple of miles. So you need to have some kind of a plan. Now, here in Poland, I do have some family out in the countryside that I could go to if things really got bad, and that's probably where I would bug out to, okay? So right now, I'm in downtown Krakow, but I do have family members that are just maybe 30 to 50 miles outside of Krakow that I would basically have to walk to, okay? Which this time of year in September is not hard to do, but in the winter time, that would be a big undertaking. Hiking 50 miles in the winter in Poland is no joke. It gets very cold here. There's usually snow over your knees. So another thing is the time of the year that you're traveling. You need to think about, how that's going to affect your plans. If you do have to bug out, you may need snowshoes. So I want to just show you my bug out bag here, but hopefully this will help you out. Okay, think about all those things, do your research, plan. All right, guys, so I just want to show you the pack. We'll start with the pack. And this is just a Helicon Tex. I think it's a raccoon pack. They call it the raccoon. And I actually got this at a local Polish military and tactical store. Fortunately, in Poland, tactical stuff and military stuff and outdoors, survival, even shooting sports are very, very popular. They've always been. So there's no shortage of survival stores and outdoor stores that I can get stuff if I need to. And I actually purchased this once I got here because I didn't want to have to bring too much stuff over on the plane. So I actually purchased probably most of the gear in this pack while I was here in Poland. Okay, but this is the Helicon Tex raccoon pack. It's about 20 liters. And the things that I look for in a pack for any kind of bug out bag is you want to make sure that it's made of solid material that's not going to tear. This is Cordura, I think 500 denier. So it's like a lighter Cordura. Really 500 denier Cordura is all you need. So this is going to last. It wasn't that expensive. It's probably about 60 to 75 bucks in the US. And one thing I look for is a waist belt. You want to get something with a waist belt. Number one, so you can transfer some of the load to your hips so you don't tear up your shoulders and your back, putting direct pressure on them for hours and hours. Because remember, you're going to be hiking with this thing for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 miles, maybe several days in a row. And if the backpack is not comfortable, if it's not well made, if it wasn't designed for long-term use, then you're going to have problems. Your shoulders are going to hurt, your back is going to hurt, and it's going to be hard for you to do what you need to do to bug out. So a waist belt is handy. This is a pretty minimalist waist belt, as you can see. It doesn't have any padding, but it can help transfer the load to my hips, so it's not all on my back. And in addition to that, it keeps the pack stable if I'm running. If I have to sprint, this will keep the backpack from floating all over the place on my back and you know, dancing around on my back. So waist belt is important. You want to have decent padding on your shoulder straps. You want to have some basic padding here for your back. Another thing that's handy too is on the bottom of this pack, I have these straps here that I can use to attach, let's say a jacket or a sweater. If, you know, let's say it's like fall time, like right now it's September in Poland, and one day it could be 75 degrees and the next day it could be 35 degrees. Okay, so I want to have a way to shed layers and not have to carry my layers over my shoulder or something for miles and miles. This is very handy. So, and then there's also on the back of the pack here some bungee cords that I can use. There's a bungee cord that, you know, just loops through the MOLLE webbing, and I can attach stuff to that too. You want to have good zippers, obviously. I think these are YKK zippers, decent buckles. You want the pack to be pretty rugged, okay? And I do have this in Polish woodland camo. I think like an olive drab color is the best general purpose color for a bug out bag, because olive drab will work in most terrains. Obviously in like desert environments, olive drab is going to contrast with the sand around you, but in most areas, olive drab is the way to go, or some kind of a dark woodland camo like this. Okay, so I'm going to just show you what's in here. I'm going to start with the main compartment. Okay, so I'll show you guys some of my food that I have. So here I have a couple of packets of whey protein. I purchased these here in Poland. It's like 30 grams of protein per each of these packets. I got 3 of them right here. Here I have some electrolyte tablets with vitamin C. These are Polish. I purchased these here on site. So these are just like effervescent tablets you can dissolve in your water bottle, and it'll give you potassium, sodium, and some sugar and some vitamin C. It's got like 188% of your daily value of vitamin C in one tablet. So this is handy. I also have a packet of vitamin C tabs. Each one of these vitamin C tablets has 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, okay? Why is vitamin C important? Because in nature, it's hard to find vitamin C. Okay, vitamin C is not something that the human body synthesizes. Like predatory animals, for example, wolves and bears, they make vitamin C. We need to obtain vitamin C from our environment. And vitamin C is water soluble, so if you don't take your vitamin C for even just 2 or 3 days, if you don't get some vitamin C, you're going to go into a deficit. You're going to have all kinds of problems. Your immune system is going to go down, and you're going to get sick, and you're going to have joint issues. So you need to have some vitamin C, okay? It's a no-brainer. So vitamin C, critical, electrolytes, protein powder, and I also have a bunch of these protein bars. These are just a Polish brand. They're called Go Protein. I think it's like 20 or 25 grams of protein per each of these bars. And they do have vitamins and minerals as well. So it's kind of like a meal bar. Okay, I got like 10 of these, and that amounts to, I think, like 3,000 calories. So that should be enough for a full day of, you know, rigorous activity. And here I just have some toiletry stuff. I have a tube of toothpaste. There should be a toothbrush in here. I just took it out. And I have a nail clipper and tweezers and floss, okay? Why a nail clipper? Because something as simple as a nail clipper can make a huge difference, okay? If you get an ingrown toenail and you have to hike 50 miles, that could be a big problem. You can get an infection. And something as simple as having a nail clipper to cut that ingrown toenail out can make a huge difference, okay? You can get a serious infection from an ingrown toenail, especially if you're hiking, if you have a pack on, if you have boots on, you're going over rough terrain, you're going to put pressure on that ingrown toenail, and that's going to be a big problem, okay? So simple things, okay? And then tweezers for pulling out ticks and splinters, and then floss, obviously, and toothpaste. You got to make sure you take care of your teeth, your mouth, okay? Because your mouth is one of those things that people overlook, and it can cause serious problems, okay? If you have a dirty mouth, okay, from not brushing for several days, you can get infections in your gums and all kinds of problems, and that can actually kill you. You know, if you have an infection in your gum, it can go to your jawbone, it can travel to your heart, it can get into your blood. So take care of your mouth, okay? Brush your teeth every single day if you're bugging out. And here I just have 1.5 liters of water. This is just a local Polish water, okay? And in addition to the water bottle, 1.5 liters of water, I just have an empty stainless steel canteen. I brought this from the States, okay? So I have this Nalgene stainless steel canteen. It's 1 quart. It's solid steel. I've done a review on this canteen before. It's the best canteen, in my opinion, for a prepper and a survivalist. And then here I just have a steel cup, okay, if I need to cook something or whatever I need to do. Now here in Poland, chestnuts this time of year are ripe. There's chestnuts all over the place here, okay? Chestnut trees are very, very common in Poland. So I could literally collect like pounds and pounds of chestnuts and live off of them, okay? If I'm bugging out, they have everything: protein, fats, sugars, okay? And this canteen cup will serve as my pot to boil them, okay? But, you know, having a stainless steel canteen is critical in case you need to boil water and cook, okay? So make sure you have a stainless steel canteen. And I just have 1.5 liters of water, okay? I'm not like a huge water drinker. I can go like a whole day on just 1 cup of water. It's just the way my body is. Everybody's different. But this is all I need. You don't want to carry too much water because it's heavy and it makes noise when you move around. It, you know, sloshes around. So you don't want to carry too much water. You don't want to carry too little. I think the sweet spot is like right around 1 to 2 liters. That's really all you need, especially if you have a water filter, which I'm going to get into. Just some more protein bars here. Some more protein bars. I got a whole bunch. I think I got like 15 of them actually. So lots of protein bars. Here I just have a dry sack. Okay, I can put electronics in here, whatever I need to keep dry. It's just a dry sack, and I actually purchased this locally for just a few dollars, real cheap. It's another no-brainer. Here I have a solar panel. This is a 10-watt solar panel. So I'll use this to recharge my battery bank, which I'll show you guys in a second. I have this face mask, olive drab face mask. And why would I have that? Number one, for camouflaging, okay? I'm very pale, as you can see. So if I'm walking through a forest or at night, you know, my pale white skin sticks out, contrasts with the surrounding environment. So I want to cover my face. Also, this helps protect your identity. Okay, whatever the situation is, you may want to hide your identity. So, you know, for whatever reason, I'll let you use your imagination on that one. I'm not going to say for what reason, but sometimes you may want to hide your identity. And here I just have some charging cords for my battery bank and for my solar panel. This is just general purpose charging cords, one for micro USB-C, I think it is. And then here we have the other style. This is the other style of the micro USB. So I have both styles. So depending on what I need to charge, I have basically any cable that I would ever need to charge anything, okay? anything that I have, anything that I find, anything that I scavenge, okay? And then here I have my water treatment stuff. I have this packet of chlorine dioxide. Okay, one of these tabs is good for 1 liter of water. It'll kill bacteria, viruses, and parasites. Okay, so if you're going to get water purification tabs, which I think is mandatory for every bug out bag, get chlorine dioxide. Don't get iodine, because iodine does not kill parasites like Giardia. Okay, it'll only kill bacteria and viruses. So chlorine dioxide is what you want. Here I have 20 tabs. That's good enough for 20 liters. It should be enough for almost any situation. Okay, this is just a local Polish brand. I got this when I came here at the local military store. Okay, so chlorine dioxide. All this stuff is not expensive. Backpack, all these things, I would say combined, probably not more than $300, and this is all high quality stuff. Okay, here I have a water filter. It's just a Sawyer Mini. This is my favorite type of water filter. I got this here when I came to Poland, so I didn't have to bring over a ton of crap through the customs. Okay, but Sawyer Mini water filter. This is good for warmer temperatures in the winter time if it's below freezing, okay, or if it's fall time and the nighttime temperatures drop down below freezing. You don't want to have this in your pack. You don't want to rely on it because this filter will freeze. There's membranes in here, and if you've already used it, there's going to be, water in there that's never going to fully dry out, and when the temperatures drop, it's going to freeze and damage the membrane, and it's not going to work anymore. So these filters only work in the warmer months, okay? Warmer climates above freezing. Remember that, okay? So just because you have a water filter doesn't mean that you're 100% safe, because they can freeze. And then also, they don't always filter out bacteria, especially viruses. Viruses are thousands of times smaller than bacteria, and bacteria is thousands of times smaller than parasites. Okay, these are primarily good for parasites and some type of bacteria, not all bacterias, and they don't work on viruses, okay, like hepatitis, whatever. So really, in an ideal scenario, you want to use both your chlorine dioxide tabs and your water filter. You filter the water first, and then you put your chlorine dioxide afterwards, or you can just use your chlorine dioxide, because the chlorine dioxide will kill parasites. It's just that it takes up to 4 hours for the chlorine dioxide to dissolve the cell walls of the parasite, because parasites have like this, cyst, and it's like a very thick wall around, their cyst, and it takes time for the chlorine dioxide to break it down and kill it. So you need a longer contact time. That's the only downfall. But water filter, critical. Chlorine dioxide, critical. Okay, every bug out bag should have that. So that's my main compartment there. Okay, that's it. And then now we're going to move into my secondary compartment here. This is where I have some of my gadgets. So very important thing to have if you're traveling overseas is a satellite phone or satellite messenger. This is a Spot X. I've used this for many years for my hunting trips and wilderness trips, off-roading, hiking. I spend a lot of time in the wilderness. I always bring this with me. I know how to use it. I know where it works, where it doesn't work. So you need to be familiar with your gear, but I brought this over from the States, and this is rechargeable. It's very rugged. It's waterproof. It's temperature proof. You can use it in the winter and the summer. Satellite phone can be very handy, so you can communicate with your family members in another continent. I've actually used this already and tested it out here in Poland, and I was able to use it here, even though I'm in Poland, totally different time zone, totally different, phone carriers and everything, and it still worked fine. Okay, so satellite phone is something you should consider. And here I have this rugged power bank. This is a waterproof, shockproof power bank, and this has a capacity of 15,000 milliamp hours. So this battery alone, I can charge my cell phone probably like 5 times or more. And it comes with a standard USB outlet and a micro USB outlet. So this thing is just critical for keeping all my electronics charged, like my satellite phone, okay? If I want to recharge this, I can recharge this probably 10 or 15 times with this battery bank, and this is not heavy at all. And then I can use my little solar panel here, and this little solar panel will recharge this in direct sunlight in probably 3 hours. So it's just a no-brainer, guys, okay? And here I have a Leatherman Wave Plus. Okay, this is just a multi-tool. You know, you never know what you need a multi-tool for. You never know. Okay, so you got your needle nose pliers and all your other tools with the Leatherman. And, you know, I have the bit kit as well. So I have Phillips heads, I have flat heads, I have hex heads, everything I would ever need. So a good multi-tool is very, very useful. And here I have the bit kit for it. So I got all the different bits, you know, everything you can imagine, I have it right here. So if I have to do any kind of repairs, here I just have a spork. I got this locally here in Poland. It's just a, you know, basic spork for eating. And here I have a wrist compass. This is really all you need. You could bring a better compass if you want to. I bought this locally here. It's just a rugged wrist compass. It's not cheap. It's pretty solidly built. Okay, if I'm bugging out in a foreign country, it's probably just going to be a general direction that I'm going to be heading in. I don't need a super precise compass, but if you know what you're doing, even this can get you where you need to go and be very precise if you have some basic land navigation skills and experience. This is really all you need. Okay, so just a simple wrist compass. And then I just have fire steel. I actually have 2 fire steels just in case I use one of them or lose one. It's always good to have a backup. I have this fat wood stick here. Comes with this little lanyard so I can clip it to something. I just purchased this at the local survival store. Fat wood is for starting fires if you're not aware. And then here I have a fire steel with a striker. Okay, you always want to get the striker with it. You can use your knife, but it's always easier to use a striker. I got 2 of these, you know, in case I lose one. You never know. You could be stressed out, freaked out, whatever, and you're not paying attention, and you're trying to get the fire going. You're cold, and you throw your fire steel down, and then you can't find it. Okay, so let's see, what else do I have here? Here I just have a electronic lighter, and I can recharge this, which is really handy. So let me turn it on for you guys. Okay, so it's a plasma lighter. It's waterproof. It has an O-ring seal around it. You can see that black O-ring there. Okay, so it keeps it watertight, and I can recharge this with my battery bank hundreds of times. Okay, this is much better than a Bic lighter, if you can even find Bic lighters overseas, but this is a no-brainer. And got this knife locally. You got to keep in mind with weapons, you need to know the laws, okay? Poland has very lenient laws on knives. You can actually carry any type of knife on your person, and it's not illegal. I can literally carry this on my person, open carry it, and it's not illegal. Yeah, I might get stopped and questioned by police if they see me wearing this on my person, which I wouldn't do unless it's a bug out situation. But this is just a cold steel SRK. So, you know, just a basic fixed blade knife. It's not the best knife in the world, but it'll get the job done. Okay, it's got a pretty thick spine, and it's a full tang knife. That's what you want. You want a pretty thick spine, you know, maybe 1/4 inch or just under 1/4 inch. And, you know, just a regular straight blade. Don't need serrated blades. Serrated blades are harder to sharpen. Okay, so something like this, about 5 to 6 inches in length, is really the sweet spot for a survival blade. Okay, it comes with this nice sheath here. I can lash this to Molly. I have a loop here I can put onto my belt. Okay, so different mounting options with it. I think this is 50 meters of Paracord. Got this at the local survival store. Okay, not expensive. And here I have a poncho. I got this at the local survival store as well. It's a camouflage poncho, same camouflage pattern as the pack. It's the Polish woodland camo, but this is a no-brainer. There's a lot of things you can do with this. If we're talking about a nuclear situation, this can actually keep radioactive debris off of your skin. So if there's fallout raining down from the sky, this will keep that fallout and radiation from contacting your skin, which you don't want. Okay, it'll be easy to decontaminate yourself. You can collect water with this. Okay, you can use this obviously as a poncho. You can use this to make a shelter. You can use this to make a sleeping bag. There's so many things you can do with it. So that's a no-brainer. And then here I just have some emergency blankets. I got these at the local survival store. Okay, space blankets, no-brainer. A lot of things you can do with them as well. Not expensive. And then here I have a flashlight that I brought from the US. This is actually a Phoenix TK25. I don't think they make this one anymore, but what I like about it is that it has two LEDs. It has a red LED and then it has a white LED. Okay, and why does that matter? Well, red LEDs are easier on the eyes. Any kind of red light is going to preserve your natural night vision. Now, it takes the human eye 30 minutes to fully adjust to nighttime, okay? So as soon as you use your white light, for whatever reason, if it's self-defense, if you're checking something in your pack, if you need to scan an area, you're basically wiping out your night vision, and then it's going to take another 30 minutes to readapt, okay? So the red light will prevent that. Also, red light is more stealthy, okay? If I have this white light, 500 lumens or 1,000 lumens, you can see that from a mile away, especially if it's a grid down situation. There's no power, there's no street lights, there's no lights anywhere, okay? And you're in a city or wherever you are, and you turn this thing on, everybody's going to see that, okay? So you don't want to do that. You don't want to give away your location. So the red light, gentle on your eyes, not going to mess up your night vision, and it's going to keep you stealthy. Okay, remember, there's going to be hungry people out there that are not prepared, and you're in a foreign country. You don't know who these people are. You may not speak the language well, so you can't trust people. Think about just in the US how dangerous it would be to bug out. Now imagine bugging out in a foreign country that you're not too familiar with, okay? And then I have this rechargeable battery that I can recharge with a micro USB cable, okay? And that's why I have that battery bank. I can recharge this flashlight 4 or 5 times easily, okay? Another thing I almost forgot is a sharpener. You may need to sharpen your knife. So I just got this Smith's sharpener here. It's got the fine and the coarse, and then it's also got this diamond covered rod, okay, for sharpening odd shaped things. But so that was everything in my international bug out bag. It's very similar to what I have at home, and all this stuff with this pack weighs probably 15 pounds, maybe 18 pounds. Okay, I can easily run full speed with this. I can climb things. I can squeeze through tight spaces. This is a small, compact backpack. You don't want too much crap, okay? That's going to weigh you down. It's going to slow you down. It's going to make it difficult for you to move. So you just want the bare essentials. Don't go crazy. Remember, you're bugging out. You're getting from point A to point B. So you just need enough to get to point B, okay? You got to figure out what point B is. Okay, so I want to just show you guys some other things that you should bring with you when you travel overseas. In addition to your international bug out bag, you should also have proper clothing, proper footwear. Okay, so I actually packed some BDUs, some camouflage clothing, some winter gear. So I brought this with me, guys. This is camouflage clothing. Okay, you should definitely have some camouflage clothing, different kinds. This is just my hunting shirt here. It's just like a hardwood pattern. Here I have some woodland camo BDU shorts. Here I have some more camo shirts here, some camo t-shirts. And then here I have some like winter gear since it is September in Poland. This is like a heavier set of pants, camouflage, heavier set of shirts. And then here I have a wool sweater. This thing is really warm. I've worn this in the middle of winter with nothing else on my upper body, and this will keep me warm down to the 20s easily. Okay, and then combined with my poncho, that'll keep any moisture off of me. And then also, you know, I got some boots. These are my bug out boots from home. Okay, these are the boots that I would use to bug out. These are broken in. I hike with these. These are just some Danner boots, and they have a waterproof, breathable lining to them. I have Kevlar laces, so the laces are real durable. But that's pretty much it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed my international bug out bag video, and I will be back with more bug out videos. I am going to be doing some practice bug outs in my area of Pennsylvania, and I'm going to film those for you guys so you can come along with me. And that's pretty much it. See you guys on the next one. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.